2020 Rocky Mountain Slayer may be the most redefining revision that the brand has put the brawler bike through in a long time. After a 3-year stint as a 27.5-inch enduro and all-mountain bike, Rocky Mountain revised the Slayer and released it this August with the widest amount of options the bike has ever seen. It is now available in both 27.5 and 29-inch wheels, in both carbon and aluminum frames, and with a starting price for a complete build at $3,300 for an aluminum model. A carbon frame set is selling for $3,100. The Slayer is now capable enough for anything from all-day big mountain riding to long days at the bike park or dusty free ride lines. I'm sure the 29-inch wheels would have a few people rolling over in their graves 5 years ago, but it makes sense for the bike considering how far geometry has come. The big wheels add confidence and rollover capability and don't seem to detract from the Slayer's agility. 29-inch Slayers are available in sizes medium through extra large, and the 27.5-inch models are available in sizes small through extra large. Rocky has reinforced the front triangle with a bridge between the top and down tube for added stiffness and durability, and the seat stays with a horizontal bridge for added lateral stiffness in the rear. It's evident that the Slayer was made to kill the hardest lines on the planet, and every model comes with a coil shock, double down casing Maxxis tires, and the stiffest single crown forks on the market. I tested the $6,000 C70 build with a Shimano XT group set, RockShox Lyric Ultimate fork, 1-up dropper post, and a RockShox Super Deluxe Coil Ultimate rear shock. Yes, at 34 pounds, it is heavy for your average mountain bike, but considering the Slayer's downhill prowess, it seems spot on. Most people that pick up a Slayer are going to want tires with heavy casings anyways, and the overall weight of the bike adds security to the riders really sending it. The entry model Alloy 30 will need a lot of upgrading to lighten it up at a claimed 38 pounds, but it would make a great entry-level park bike, and it still gets a coil shock, a strong fork, and proper tires. The weight of the Slayer is also the biggest disadvantage when it comes to climbing, but considering I was riding a 170mm travel 29er, I was pretty surprised. The kinematics were revised and anti-squat was dropped from the previous generation to reduce the pedal kickback and to increase small bump compliance. Geometry is comfortable, upright, and well balanced for climbing, and the coil shock means traction for days climbing up rocky inclines. I found pedaling efficiency and progressive geometry for climbing on the Slayer, but just found that it needed more expenditure from the quads to make it happen. Not surprisingly, I also found that the Slayer takes a certain amount of grade and variability in the terrain to bring it to its potential. This bike was made to slay after all, so if the majority of your riding is moderately graded and smooth, I would recommend something with less travel. Even on fast flow and jump trails, the Slayer was weighty. It doesn't mean you can't send it hard over long tabletops, but it's going to take some extra effort. Personally, I found that the Slayer was the most fun to ride on anything steep and chunky. With a 64.5 degree head tube angle and a 450mm reach on a size medium, as well as a short seat tube, I was always able to get low and stay upright behind the handlebars. This made it easy to conquer steep slabs of rock or fall line trails, as did the coil shock controlling the rear suspension. The rear wheel tracks straight over bumps and sticks to the ground when you're bombing down gnarly trail and through corners. The Slayer was astoundingly agile through tight corners, given its large wheels and travel numbers, and it actually started to help me develop the Scandinavian flick, something I always wanted to learn, and for a bike to earn the accolade that it is confidence inspiring, it should help you progress as a rider, and the Slayer does exactly that. The only negative that I noticed while descending and through corners was a little pedal kickback. It wasn't something that happened often or threw me off completely, but it did happen a few times. Out of corners and into rocky straightaways, the Slayer hacks away at trail, piece by piece. With the combination of its weight, playfulness, pop, and plow factor, it's the most confidence-inspiring bike that I've ridden all year, which is also reflected in our staff picks for 2019. The Slayer C70 I rode came with some quality components, none of which I'd seek to replace immediately if I were to buy it. There is room to lighten it up, however, if a buyer wanted. Going with a lighter wheel set would surely save some weight, but then you'd have to wonder if carbon wheels make sense for your style of riding on this style of bike. The Aggressor and Minion DHF combo is one of my favorites, and it suited the Slayer well, especially on my local trails. The newest 4-piston Shimano XTs have a ton of power and bite and offered plenty of stopping power. I did notice that the bite point tended to shift here and there, although I could always find it. The 1-up dropper post with the nicely machined remote sitting next to the front brake was also solid, snappy, and reliable. The RockShox suspension worked great, and the Lyric Ultimate is a very smooth feeling fork in almost all manners, from small bumps to big hits. Breakaway force feels on par with Kashima-coated forks, and it works smoothly through all of its travel with strong mid-support. Rocky Mountain's newest edition of the legendary Slayer continues to impress. It's big and brawny, but still apt to have fun, kicking off rocks and jumps and through tight Nashi trails. Slayer is also a surprisingly good climber, which makes the bike incredibly well-rounded. While it's certainly no quiver killer, the Slayer will surely take on the job of enduro, park, freeride, and even downhill bike for most of us. Thanks for watching the review. For the latest mountain bike news, visit Singletracks.com. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more of our video reviews, and have fun out there.